Guys, so we have an urgent breaking news coming out. US military to scale hypersonic arsenal with new tech to maximize lethality. In other words, the US is going to have the best hypersonic missile in the world that could literally take out enemy targets. Alright, so we're going to see what's going on here, guys. This is a DEFCON warning alert. Alright, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Once again, the armed forces plan to significantly increase their inventory scale of hypersonic weapons and use advanced technology to make these weapons as effective as possible at destroying enemy targets and achieving mission objectives. Alright, so the US is getting ready, advancing the hypersonic and military equipments. Remember, you had Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. He announced that we need to be prepared for war. We need to get ready for war. The Pentagon has unveiled an innovation strategy comprising 6 key areas aimed at cementing America's military edge on the world stage. So the Department of War newly announced technology priorities, signal an accelerated drive to maintain U.S. military superiority amid rising competition from adversaries like China and Russia. You guys already know these countries, that hypersonic works, all right? And I think North Korea is also on the list. But again, we are seeing that a lot of these countries are catching up, and we kind of, slacking, but Donald has ordered the Pentagon and also Secretary of War that we need to start boosting really quick. At a time when global hypersonic and directed energy weapons programs are advancing rapidly, these initiatives represent both a response to evolving warnings and an effort to modernize forces for future conflicts. This could also be part of the what Donald said, that we need to start testing nuclear weapons. Under Secretary of Defense for Research and Engineering, Emil Michael has publicly outlined 6 critical technology areas designed to transform American warfighting capabilities and ensure the U.S. retains a decisive technological edge. So you guys know Donald is all about America first. We have the best. We are the best. They range from unlocking artificial intelligence to expanding hypersonic weapons, technologies designed for rapid deployment and real-world impact. Officials say the goal is clear: arm U.S. forces with next-generation tools and ensure they remain a lethal fighting force. The CTAs include applied artificial intelligence, biomanufacturing, contested logistic technology, quantum, and battlefield information dominance, scaled directed energy, and scaled hypersonic. Here's the thing, guys. I just feel like this is becoming like Terminator stuff, because now we are bringing in the AI stuff. All right, so we are entering this new system now, and far advanced technology, AI stuff. And so I do believe that Terminator movie is a foreshadowing. I do believe so. Michael emphasized the urgency driving these technology initiatives. He said, "Our adversaries are moving fast, but we will move faster. The warfighter is not asking for result tomorrow. They need them today. The push for hypersonic weapons missiles that can travel at more than 5 times the speed of sound and evade traditional defenses has gained particular momentum. The Pentagon's fiscal year 2026 budget request includes $3.9 billion for hypersonic research, although this is a lower figure from the previous year. So yeah, I do believe this is a DEFCON warning. Now a lot of people don't like the name DEFCON. Louis, you know nothing about DEFCON. Here's the thing, guys. We are living in a time of biblical war preparation. The Bible says that in these last days there will be great wars. But again, what do I know? A lot of people just don't read scriptures. And again, what happened in 2001 in New York should be a wake-up call to the world, not only America, but to the world, because we could see something a lot worse than what took place in 2001. There could be a mushroom cloud that could strike any country and things could escalate really quick. Research is ongoing in multiple major programs across the Army, Navy, and Air Force, with an increasing focus on making hypersonic system scalable and affordable for mass fielding. On the industry side, U.S. companies such as Castellan are working to integrate domestically developed hypersonic system like the Blackbeard strike weapon onto current mobile platforms, including the Army's widely deployed HIMARS launchers. Castellan contracts with both the Army and the Navy are intended to enable rapid mass production of these weapons at a lower cost compared with previous system, according to Reuters. While the U.S. hypersonic effort is centered on conventionally armed system for greater accuracy, Russia and the Red Dragon have already fielded operational hypersonic glide vehicles, some potentially with nuclear payloads, reflecting a growing arms race and offensive military technologies. These foreign countries, man, they just, out of nowhere, advance. This is Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. He's the one that said we need to be prepared for war. We need to prepare ourselves. We're not prepared. And I agree, we're not prepared. These previous administration, I don't know what in the world they were. Again, they were thinking about unicorns and all these different type of colorful people and stuff like that. I mean, their minds were somewhere else. So, but foreign enemies advancing. Emil, under Secretary of Defense for Research and Engineering, said these 6 critical technology areas are not just priorities. They are imperatives. The American warfighter will wield the most advanced technology to maximize lethality. This is how the War Department wins wars. Secretary of Defense P. Hegseth said, "Our nation military has always been the tip of the spear." Under Secretary Michael, 6 critical technology areas will ensure that our warriors never enter a fair fight and have the best system in their hands for maximum lethality. The War Department is committed to remaining the most deadly fighting force on planet Earth. So what happens next? Several U.S. hypersonic systems, including the long-range hypersonic weapon for the Army and the Navy's conventional propped strike, are in prototype and early development phases. Industry ambitions to mass-produce systems like Blackbeard hinge resolving supply chain bottlenecks and solidifying long-term funding. Congressional review will continue. to focus on cost effectiveness, mission integration, and strategic impact on widespread hypersonic deployment. Internationally, the race for hypersonic missiles and directed energy weapons continues, with the Bear, Russia, and the Red Dragon maintaining significant progress. Nation against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Okay, give me 1 second here, guys. I want to pull up some more information here. If you can, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I really appreciate it. Again, triple check the notification bell, guys. So I want to go with this one here. So Donald just put out a bombshell news. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to show you some certain parts of this one here. This is something big. Donald said Persia says Iran wants nuclear deal badly. Excuse me, the US president says Iran wants nuclear deal badly. Let's see what's going on with this one here. Something like this, again, they should have listened to Trump when Trump told them, hey, either let's talk about a nuclear deal or I would drop the bunker buster. But again, they didn't listen. Donald dropped the bunker buster. U.S. commander has signaled a possible reopening of U.S.-Persia diplomacy, saying that Persia, Iran wants to make a deal very badly, and adding, I am totally open to it. There you go. Speaking Tuesday at the White House alongside Saudi Crown Prince, an ally in the Mideast, Donald hinted that Washington and Tehran might resume discussion, even after a turbulent summer marked by surprise Holy Land strike and U.S. strikes on Persia nuclear sites. The remarks highlight the administration's willingness to engage diplomatically while projecting cautious optimism. All right, so this is a big breaking news here. Donald and Iran to negotiate. Donald remarks come amid global concern over Persia-Iran nuclear ambitions, regional security, and the risk of a wider conflict that could disrupt energy markets and international trade. A renewed U.S.-Iran diplomatic effort could ease tensions in the Mideast, reduce the warning of escalation, and stabilize global oil prices, supply chains, and investor confidence. Man, I might end up reading the whole news article. That's how important this is. June 12, day war. Excuse me, June's 12-day war between Persia with Holy Land, which ended with U.S. strikes on Persia nuclear site, highlighted how quickly regional tensions can ripple worldwide. Disruption to Persian Gulf airspace and markets illustrated the vulnerability of the global economy. Successful negotiation could also strengthen alliances, reassure international partners, and help avert a crisis with consequences far beyond the region. It says here the U.S. president emphasized that the U.S. was beginning a renewed diplomatic process, with Tehran highlighting that both sides may still be open to engagement. He said, "It would be nice to have a deal with Persia, and we could have done it before the war, but that didn't work out, and something will happen there, I think." The remarks appear to reflect the administration's position that despite the collapse of earlier negotiations and the turbulence of the June conflict, there remained a potential path towards an agreement if Washington and Tehran continue discussions. Once again, Iran has not yet publicly responded to Donald comments. Collapse of negotiations. The US and Persia have been engaged in talks earlier this year under a 60-day deadline set by Washington, with no agreement emerged by June 12. Momentum stalled. The next day, Holy Land launched a surprise campaign targeting Persian military sites, taking several senior officials and effectively ending any immediate path back to diplomacy. 9 days later, the U.S. struck 3 Persian nuclear facilities. Now, Donald defended the operation, saying, "We did that on behalf of everybody, and the outcome was extraordinary because we have the best pilots, the best equipment, the best planes, the best everything." In response, Persia launched ballistic and drones at Holy Land and fired missiles at U.S. forces at the base in Qatar. That was their response, but there was no catastrophic events. Everybody was safe. It wasn't even that great a response. Now, Saudi ready to help. After outlining U.S. actions and the broader regional situation, Donald turned to Saudi role in the facilitating diplomacy. Addressing the crown prince, he said, "We put you in a very good position." The Saudi leader, widely known by the MBS, emphasized, I'm going to skip that person's name there, readiness to help the U.S. and Iran reach a deal that could also benefit the wider Mideast. "I will be working closely together on the issue, and we will do our best to help to reach a deal between America and Persia." Earlier, Saudi official news agency, SPA, reported that MBS had received a handwritten letter addressed to him from Persia leader before his trip to Washington. No details were available about its content. And we're almost done with this one here. So once again, Donald said Iran does want to make a deal. I think they very badly want to make a deal. I am totally open to it. And we are talking to them. And we start a process. Saudi Crown Prince said, "We believe it's good for Iran future to have a good deal that will satisfy the region and the world. So we will do our best to see that day happen." So what happens next? Washington is expected to explore renewed diplomatic avenues as regional gov assess whether the post-conflict landscape can support meaningful negotiation between the U.S. and Persia. Once again, the U.S. commander efforts to facilitate a deal alongside Saudi support may also reflect his broader ambition to position himself as a peacemaker on the world stage, a role he has previously suggested could earn him a Nobel Peace Prize. And that is all the information, guys, when it comes to nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. We are definitely seeing Bible prophecy happening. The Gospel of Luke 21 is always every day. It's always an everyday thing because there's always wars and nation against nation. So we are definitely seeing a lot of Bible prophecy going on here. U.S. Once again talking to Persia, Iran, and that's something big. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Till next time later. Peace.